Good morning, Rechavia Nachlaot, right here in Yerushalayim. Also Shavua Tov, and welcome to the daily Tanya class lesson over here in Yerushalayim. Jerusalem time, 9:30 a.m. and hopefully we look forward to seeing you every day right here. As we did on Friday, I want to dedicate this class in memory of Mrs. Razel Zucker, who is a young mom who passed away on Thursday with the wife of Cantor Beryl Zucker, who is very connected to the Chabad of Rechavia, and unfortunately she passed away after a very difficult sickness for a year and a half, and so we're dedicating this class in her memory, and may her neshama have an aliyah, and may Hashem give only bracha to her husband Beryl and the 8 wonderful children. So opening the Tanya to Perek Bet, chapter 2, a very fundamental subject that we're learning now in Perek Bet, and in a sense this is the underlining concept and the key to the entire Tanya, teaching us about who we are, all about ourselves and the neshama that we contain within ourselves. And over the past couple of days we learned about how every neshama is literally part of Hashem. Wow, that is such a great zechut that we have within ourselves, literally part of the atzmut, the essence of Hashem, which is even more special, very, very special. Just one moment. Okay. Right now outside the Chabad house you can see the Jerusalem stone, and hopefully you feel close to the Chabad house even when we need to be far. So too the Alter Rebbe says on page Vav, which corresponds to page 10. If you look at the text, the original text, and it's also on our Facebook page, you can see the text of the Tanya. You might have to scroll down a little bit because we have a lot of great stuff on our Facebook page with over 2,000 likes. 2,000 likes. Last week we reached, Baruch Hashem, we topped 2,000 likes on our Facebook page. So please share the page with your friends, get them to like it as well, and if everybody gets at least one person to like the Chabad Rechavia page, then in no time we'll be over 4,000 likes. That will be awesome. And so let's go back to the Tanya after the brief intermission. Okay, we talked about the fact that the Alter Rebbe says that every neshama, every Jew is called a child of Hashem. And just like a parent, when they are the parent of a child, then the child himself, primarily the mind of the child, comes from the mind of the parent. So too, Am Yisrael, we come from the mind of Hashem, so to speak, the mochin, the chokhmah, the machshava, the thought and intellect of Hashem, which is the essence, basically, the essence of Hashem. So let's continue at the last wide line, right on top of the small footnote. The third word, De'ihu. De'ihu, for he, Hashem, is Chakim, is Aramaic for smart, wise, V'la b'chachma yediyah, and not in the knowledgeable type of wisdom. When we had a course over the first part of this year, 5780, we had a course for a few months, which was called the Getting to Understand the 10 Sfirot. And it was an amazing course, and one of the things we learned in was the Patach Eliyahu. We actually learned it from the text, the original text. Patach Eliyahu is one of the introductions for the Zohar, and what we recite every Friday evening before Mincha, right as Shabbos enters. And Eliyahu Hanavi, in this prayer, in this essay, Eliyahu Hanavi explains in great detail about the 10 Sfirot. And then when he writes about Chachma, he writes, Ihu Chakim, this quote, he, Hashem, is smart, is wise, however, V'la b'chachma yediyah, not in the known type of wisdom. And he continues, it's not quoted here in the Tanya, but he continues in the same verse, so to speak. Ihu Mavin, he understands, however, V'la b'chachma yediyah, V'la b'vina yediyah, and not in the knowledgeable bina. Which means that Hashem is obviously wise, because Hashem is everything. There is nothing that Hashem does not have. The Rashba said it best. He says it in one of his writings. He says, one second, it's coming back. Nimna hanimnaot. The impossible is impossible. In other words, there's nothing that Hashem does not have. Hashem is everything. Hashem has everything. And Hashem grants us, Bezrat Hashem, everything that we have. So if he has everything, then 1 + 1 = 2. Then he also has Chachma, he also has Bina, he has wisdom, understanding, kindness, everything. Because he has everything. But on the other hand, we cannot say that he has wisdom. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but please bear with me. If we say that he has something specific, then we're limiting him. We're saying he is wise. The way we know wisdom to be is a very focused, a very specific thing. And Hashem cannot be limited because Hashem is infinite. If so, then we say Ihu Chakim, he is wise. However, 1 second please. I guess if we do it outside, then the allergies, we do the class outside, the allergies are a little stronger, a little more powerful. However, V'la b'chachma yediyah, it is not with a knowledgeable wisdom. In other words, when we say that someone is wise, then we have a pretty good idea of what it means to be wise. Someone that's an intellectual, someone that can write a fascinating essay, someone that can speak well and has good deliverance. In our mind, those are different things which categorize wisdom. Or someone that makes it into a specific school or university. Wow, that guy must be wise. But Eliyahu Navi says, V'la b'chachma yediyah. He is wise. That's for sure. But not in a knowledgeable wisdom. Not in the type of wisdom that we know it to be. So then why do we call it wise? Maybe it's called something else. The reason why we call it wise is because that's the only way that we can refer to it. So then why do we call Hashem's wisdom with a word wise? And the answer is because there's no other way for us to refer to Hashem's wisdom aside from the word wise. If we want to express the concept of wisdom, even if this concept of wisdom is way beyond our grasping, we cannot grasp how deep Hashem's wisdom is. Nevertheless, since this is our way of expressing wisdom, of identifying the whole idea of being smart and wise, so we call him Chacham. Chacham is wise, or in Aramaic, Chakim, he is wise. And the same thing applies to Chesed, that Hashem is kind, but a totally different type of kindness than we know kindness to be. So why do we call him kind, Chasid, or Baal Chesed? Because we have no other way to identify Hashem's kindness. So we call him Baal Chesed. And there are so many different ways of how to refer to Hashem. For example, we say in the Shemona Esrei, in the Amidah every day, sometimes more than 3 times a day, we say Hakel, Hagadol, Hagibor v'hanora. This is just one example. He is great, he is strong, and he is awesome. Hashem is strong. Does he have a really big muscle? A human being has a small muscle, and Hashem has a great muscle. No. Strength of Hashem is a totally different concept than the way the human being knows strength to be. We call him a Gibor. He's strong. But not in the same terminology of strength at all of the way we interpret it. And when we refer to Hashem as being a king, you think it's the way we picture in our minds the way a king or a ruler or a governor is? It's a totally different concept. But the only way that we can identify with that is by calling Hashem great or strong. And the truth is that the same thing applies to any of Hashem's names. Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey. We have Kel, which is Aleph Lamed, Shakai, Shin, Daled, Yud, and so on and so, Elokim. There are many names of Hashem. And really, a name limits the individual. Because a name identifies something very specific. Very often, a person's Jewish name is connected to the person's neshama. That's why it says that it's only the parents that can choose a name, that can give a name for someone. Because it's Ruach HaKodesh, a divine inspiration. The only thing that I know that the Rebbe refused to advise when people asked the Rebbe, what name should I give my child? The Rebbe said, I'm sorry, this is something for the parents. It says in the holy books that the parents receive the Ruach HaKodesh, the divine inspiration of what the name of the child is. So it's not just a name. For example, table. One person woke up one morning and decided to call a table T-A-B-L-E. But Shulchan, which is the Hebrew name of the table, that's just not a random bunch of letters configuring them, putting them together. Rather, it's the Lashon HaKodesh. It's the holy name that Hashem chose. So if so, when it comes to Hashem's name, it seems to be that we are sort of, in a sense, limiting Hashem to a combination of a few words or several letters. Hashem is much, much greater than any kind of limitation, even the limitations of spirituality. Even His own names are, in some way, shape, or form, are definitely still considered a limitation. So how can we refer to Hashem as Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey, or Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, or all the names which we're not allowed to enunciate? How can we refer to Hashem in His name? And the answer is, as we said from the beginning of this lesson, since there's no other way for us human beings to be able to refer to Hashem aside for a name that He Himself gave us for Himself, to identify Him, then we use those names. But we realize at the same time that it's only a name. We realize when we talk to Hashem directly, He's way, way higher, way greater than any type of limitation, any type of configuration of words or a sentence or letters. Hashem is way higher than everything. In summary of everything that we've just talked about now, Ihu Chakim, He is wise, however, V'la b'chachma yediyah, not in the knowledgeable type of wisdom. Ella, rather, Hu, which is He, Hashem, the Chochmato and His wisdom, Echad, are one. U'kumosh katuv Rambam, as the Rambam stated, Shehu Hamada, that He is the information, V'hu HaYodea, He is the knower, V'hu HaYodua, and He is the one who is known. Let's try to explain this. Don't forget, this comes from the Rambam. And soon we'll see in the footnote, or in the note with an asterisk on the side, it's a deep Kabbalistic subject which coincides with what the Rambam said. Let's refer now to what the Rambam said, that hu amada, hu ayodea, v'hu ayodua. A human being is limited in time. There's something that I did yesterday, and something that I'm doing today, and something that I'm going to do tomorrow. Hashem is not limited in time, past, present, and future. For Hashem, past, present, and future is all one. Is all one in the same concept. So for example, by a human being, I'm going to give another example to how a human being is limited in time and therefore is within the framework of a limitation. Someone goes to university, and before they go to the university, they have not yet learned a certain subject. Let's say the concept of DNA. Just a random concept. You heard of it, but you don't know exactly what it is. Then one day, Tuesday morning, the professor teaches you about DNA. So you have the person, the individual, you have the information, and then you have the merging of them both, that then they know, the person knows the information. But before Tuesday, the person didn't know anything about DNA, just heard the terminology, but did not know anything about it. So this person was void of the information of the DNA. Wednesday, the person and the knowledge united with a person's mind. Now it's all one. So the Rambam says, hu hayodea, hu hamada, hu hayodua. It's going to sound strange, but this is the fact. Hashem is the knower, Hashem is the information, and Hashem is the outcome of merging the two together. Now it's known. For a human being, it's virtually impossible to understand this. But if we can at least break it down to understand that we have, by a human being, we have the three concepts, and then after we're able to merge all of this together, then we have an outcome of all in one. By Hashem, since before Tuesday and Wednesday is all in the same, because he's not limited to time, so he's also not limited to space. So you can have a great piece of information, part of Hashem. He is everything. He's not limited by anything whatsoever. If so, then we have an unbelievable, unlimited understanding of Hashem himself, who he is, and how great he is. And so therefore, when we're trying to explain Hashem's essence, we're trying to explain this awesome neshama, which you and I contain within ourselves, then hopefully we have a different understanding, a different appreciation for the neshama which we have. We are part of Hashem's essence. And just like Hashem is not limited in anything, so too our neshama is not limited in anything, because we have a piece of Hashem within us. And so therefore, the knowledge itself, and knowing that the neshama comes from the mochin, the intellect of Hashem, so to speak, refers to the highest point that we know of the essence of Hashem. And so therefore, to summarize the lesson that we've learned today, we talked about the concept of the Kabbalah, that when it comes to Hashem's Chachma, it's not the same type of Chachma that we know it to be. Hashem, He and the knowledge and the outcome is all one. Tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem, will note on the side of the page. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great week and Shavua Tov. Be well.